Lennox will share how I took control of my life and ended my husband Calloway's manipulative hold over me. For privacy, I'll be using fake names since it's important to remain anonymous, especially as a well-known lawyer in my state. I won't delve into all the details of how Calloway and I met, fell in love, and eventually divorced. What matters is that our love was never truly mutual. Calloway was unfaithful, and the signs were always there. He distanced himself, spent long hours away, and often went on business trips. Even though I had a successful career as a lawyer, Calloway always saw me as a failure simply because I didn't earn as much as him. One day, during one of his many trips, I made the decision to investigate. I found an old laptop of his and discovered a hidden Facebook account, which confirmed my worst fears. He was having an affair with a beautiful woman he clearly considered more attractive than me. Calloway constantly criticized my appearance, and it crushed me to realize he had chosen someone else. Angry and heartbroken, I confronted him the moment he returned. "Calloway, are you cheating on me? I have proof," I demanded. His response was cold, almost cruel. "Lennox, you just aren't interesting to me anymore. You're always wrapped up in your pointless cases, ignoring me. And let's be honest, you're not exactly a supermodel," he sneered. Stunned, I shot back, "What are you even talking about? I have a demanding job, and you knew that when we got married. I haven't ignored you. It's you who stopped coming home. You shut me out." That's how I uncovered the truth. But instead of guilt or regret, Calloway's heartless response left me speechless. He twisted everything, making it seem as though his infidelity was somehow my fault. A ridiculous claim I wasn't going to let him get away with. Rather than defend himself, Calloway's tone turned even colder. He smirked and said, "I'm glad you found out, Lennox. Now I don't have to hide her anymore. She's gorgeous, and we're going to have a perfect life together after I divorce you. Finally, I can marry someone worthy of my name." His words hit me like a punch to the gut. A chill ran down my spine as I realized he had been planning this all along. Worse, he was openly insulting me, praising this other woman as if she were the better choice. There was no apology, no remorse, only arrogance. He acted as though it meant nothing to him. Tears streamed down my face as he continued to boast about how he was going to leave me. This was the man I had loved for over a decade, and his cruel words shattered my heart. Through my sobs, I asked, "How could you say that, Calloway? After all these years?" "I've stood by you through everything," I said, my voice shaking with a mixture of anger and hurt. "I honored our vows and put you first, always. How could you do this?" Calloway's expression remained cold and dismissive. "It doesn't matter anymore, Lennox. You're just not right for me. I'm a successful business owner now, and I need someone who matches my status. A woman with average looks and a law degree that impresses no one just isn't good enough for me." Humiliated, I felt my chest tighten, but I refused to stay silent. "How could you say that, Calloway? I may not fit your shallow definition of beauty, but I'm a strong, capable woman. I've been a good wife to you, and now you're throwing me away." Without hesitation, he cut me off, his voice cold as steel. "I'm not considering divorce, Lennox. I've already decided. I hired a top lawyer, and the papers are ready. I'll be filing soon. You better pack your things and leave before I get back. I don't want to see your face around here anymore." A few hours later, one of Calloway's friends arrived at my door with a stack of papers in hand. His eyes held a flicker of sympathy as he passed them to me. I took the papers, closed the door, and collapsed to the floor. The weight of everything crashed down on me, and I sobbed uncontrollably for what felt like hours, realizing I had wasted years of my life on a man who never truly loved me. But as my tears dried, something shifted inside me. I wasn't going to let this defeat me. I was stronger than this, and I was going to prove it, to him and to myself. Before the man left, he let something slip. Calloway was planning to drag out the divorce. At first, I was confused, but then it hit me, the prenuptial agreement. If Calloway cheated, I was entitled to half of his business. In my emotional state, I had forgotten all about it. Now, it all made sense. He wanted to prolong the process, hoping I'd give up and walk away without claiming what was rightfully mine. That wasn't going to happen. I immediately reached out to his lawyer and scheduled a meeting. Within 2 days, I was ready to fight back, and I wasn't leaving without everything I deserved. I moved out of Calloway's house and returned to my childhood home, which was still in my name. Once everything was packed, I sent him a message. "I've moved all my things out of your house. Don't worry, I took my ugly face and body out of your sight." His response came quickly, dripping with arrogance. Good. My lawyer is the best, so don't expect much from this fight. But I stayed calm. I'm not giving up my share of the business. Keep your distance from me, Calloway. I was done letting him manipulate me. This time, I would stand my ground and make sure he didn't get away with taking what was mine. I was ready for whatever battles lay ahead. His next text only fueled my determination. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Speak to me through my lawyer from now on, and make sure you stay out of my house. The disrespect and condescension in his words sparked a fire deep inside me. It's funny how rage and betrayal can give you strength. Suddenly, everything became crystal clear. I almost laughed. Calloway had no idea who he was messing with. Neither did his lawyer, Jake. I arranged to meet Jake at a local cafe. When I arrived, I saw the moment he recognized me. His composure faltered and his hands trembled slightly. Though he tried to act professional, it was obvious that Calloway had not prepared him to face someone like me. Jake forced a nervous smile as we greeted each other, and I decided to ease the tension. It wasn't his fault I was caught up in this mess. Hello, Jake. Nice to see you, I said pleasantly, watching the surprise flicker across his face. Ma'am, I wasn't expecting you to come in person, he stammered, clearly unsettled. The last names probably threw you off, I replied smoothly. I got married after becoming a lawyer. I use my maiden name for work. Oh, I see, Jake muttered, shifting in his seat, still visibly uncomfortable. Let's not dance around it, Jake, I said, leaning in slightly. Your client told you to drag this case out, didn't he? He squirmed under my steady gaze, unsure how to respond. I decided to give him a way out. You don't have to answer that. I've been married to Calloway for over a decade. I know exactly how his mind works. Jake fidgeted, trying to maintain his composure, but my words clearly hit home. Years of experience as a lawyer had taught me how to put pressure on opponents, and Jake was no exception. I wasn't here to intimidate him, though, just to make it clear that I wasn't someone to be underestimated. I leaned in slightly and gave Jake a reassuring smile. Look, Jake, I know none of this is your fault, so let me explain what's really going on with this divorce. He blinked, looking confused. What do you mean, ma'am? He asked, clearly not expecting what was coming next. Did Calloway happen to mention that he cheated on me? I asked, watching his face closely. His expression shifted, and I could see the truth dawn on him. He had no idea. No, he didn't mention anything about that, Jake admitted, flustered, but he did say you might try to make some wild claims to ruin him. I shook my head, giving him a sympathetic smile. Oh, Jake, Calloway played you. But hey, you'll be happy to know he really thinks you're one of the best lawyers out there. He has a lot of faith in you. Jake's smile was uncertain. That's kind of him to say, he murmured, clearly overwhelmed. But I'll never measure up to you, ma'am. I wish he had told me you were a lawyer too. He only said you worked at a firm. I rolled my eyes. Typical Calloway. He never appreciated my achievements. He always looked down on my work and never took me seriously. I paused, letting that sink in before adding, but I was smart enough to make sure we had a prenuptial agreement. Jake's eyes widened, clearly caught off guard. The word prenup hit him like a ton of bricks. He fidgeted in his seat, scrambling to process what I'd just revealed. There's a prenup in this marriage, he stammered, looking almost panicked. Your husband didn't mention that. Do you have any proof, ma'am? I gave him a calm, confident smile. Oh, I have all the proof you need. I pulled a folder from my bag and placed it gently on the table between us. I brought the documents with me. I figured Calloway would try to wriggle out of the consequences, but not on my watch. Jake swallowed hard, his hands visibly trembling as he reached for the folder. I'd really like to see those papers, ma'am, he said nervously. I'll need proof of the affair if you have any, Jake said, his voice cautious. Don't worry, I replied smoothly, opening my bag. I've got everything right here. I handed him all the evidence, messages, photos, legal documents. Everything was meticulously organized and ready. Jake took his time, reviewing each piece carefully. As he examined the evidence, I watched the defeat settle into his expression. He knew there was no way Calloway could come out of this unscathed. After what felt like an eternity, Jake looked up at me, resigned. You have solid proof of everything, ma'am, he admitted. I had no idea about any of this. I figured as much, I said, keeping my tone even. I know how hard it is to deal with clients who aren't being honest, especially when the other side has a strong lawyer. You're right about that, ma'am. Jake sighed, clearly weighed down by the reality of the situation. I think that's all we need to discuss for now. I'll have to have a serious talk with my client before we proceed. Someone will be in touch, though I can't promise it'll be me. I knew what he was hinting at, but I didn't comment. Instead, I thanked him for his time and left the cafe. As I walked out, I felt an immense weight lift off my shoulders. The sadness that had once consumed me was now replaced by a fierce determination. I went straight to work, preparing my own set of documents for the divorce. Calloway had created this mess, and now he was going to face the consequences. There was no escaping what was coming. The very next day, Calloway broke the silence. Despite instructing him to contact me only through his lawyer, he called me directly. His voice was furious when I answered. "What did you say to my lawyer, Lennox?" he barked. I couldn't help but smile. "Oh, look who's calling me after telling me to stay away. What happened with your lawyer, Calloway? Stop messing around, Lennox. Tell me what you said to him that made him quit today." "Your lawyer quit today? How unfortunate," I said, dripping with sarcasm. "That's really too bad, Calloway. I guess you should have been honest about what you're up against, Calloway." "You don't know what you're talking about," he spat. "You're a nobody. I won't let you take my family business." "Oh, I'd love to see you try," I replied, my voice steady. "I'll hire a better lawyer than you ever could, and when we're done, you'll be the one begging me for mercy." "Well, good luck with that, Calloway," I said calmly. "Just a word of advice. Make sure you tell your new lawyer about the affair and the prenup." There was a pause, then the sharp click of him hanging up. I couldn't help but chuckle. He was in way over his head, and he didn't even know it yet. Calloway tried to find another lawyer, but word travels fast. My reputation in town was solid, and no decent lawyer wanted to be caught in his sinking ship. Anyone who entertained his lies would be swiftly dismantled once I laid out the evidence. He had promised to make me beg for mercy, but I knew it was only a matter of time before the tables turned. And I was right. One morning, as I was getting ready for work, a knock at the door interrupted me. It was early, and I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, there he was, Calloway, looking exhausted and utterly defeated. For a moment, I just stared at him, debating whether to send him away. But I let him in. I didn't want a scene outside my house. I had enough on my plate as it was. The moment the door closed behind him, I didn't bother with pleasantries. "Make it quick, Calloway. I don't have time to waste on you. And frankly, I have no idea why you're even here. We were supposed to handle everything through our lawyers." "Yeah, about that," he mumbled, eyes downcast, clearly embarrassed. "I haven't been able to find a good divorce lawyer yet," Calloway admitted, looking defeated. "Oh, that's unfortunate," I said with mock sympathy. "You'd better hurry. I hear Callista's been dying to marry you." "I'm not worried about her anymore," Calloway muttered, shaking his head. "Listen, Lennox, we need to talk. You've been sabotaging my chances with every lawyer. It's unfair." I burst out laughing, genuinely amused by his audacity. "Sabotaging you? Oh, Calloway, that's rich. The fact that you even think that just shows how little you respect me or my profession. You thought you could throw money at people and they'd fall at your feet, didn't you?" His face twisted with frustration. "I don't get it. What did I even do wrong?" I crossed my arms and stared him down. "Should I remind you? You lied to your lawyers about the affair, about the prenup. That's enough to embarrass any lawyer in court. No one wants to represent a client they can't trust, Calloway. And if you haven't realized by now, my name carries weight in this town. You might think I'm nothing, but I've built a reputation, a solid one." Calloway slumped, his shoulders sagging under the weight of realization. "I know that now, Lennox," he said quietly, regret dripping from his voice. "I tried being honest with a few lawyers, but none of them are willing to take my case." "Well, that's what happens when you're up against an ironclad prenup," I said coldly. "You should have thought twice before you cheated. But it's too late now. No sane lawyer is going to take your side, and you will give me half of your business." His face fell, and I could see the panic in his eyes. The business was the only thing he truly cared about. That's why he tried to hire the best lawyer he could, to drag this divorce out and exhaust me into giving up my claim. But now, after days of rejection, even he knew the game was over. Then, as if it were his last resort, Calloway did something I never expected. He started to cry. "Please, Lennox," he begged, his voice cracking. "You know how much this business means to me. Don't take it. Take everything else, just not the business." "Why not, Calloway?" I asked, my voice sharp. You were the one who insisted on putting that clause in the prenup. The one that says I get half if you cheat. You wrote your own fate. After everything you've done, do you really think I'm going to walk away empty-handed? I deserve this. It was a mistake, Lennox, he whispered, tears streaming down his face. I swear, the affair was a huge mistake, Calloway pleaded. I've even put the relationship on hold because I realized how wrong it was. Maybe we can give our marriage another shot. I'm sure we can make it work. I let out a loud, incredulous laugh. The audacity of this man was astounding. He was actually asking me to reconcile, as if I would be foolish enough to even consider it. I had heard the rumors that things between him and Callista weren't going well. Apparently, she was upset, and Calloway was unhappy too. But if he thought that was enough to win me back, he was out of his mind. I had learned my lesson the hard way. Marrying Calloway was a colossal mistake, and I wasn't about to make it again. I knew exactly why he was suddenly so desperate to get me back. You must be delusional if you think I'd even consider it, Calloway. Do you think I'm stupid? I know you want me back just to avoid splitting your business. Lennox, we were happy once. Can't we just look past this mistake and start over? I'll cut off Callista, I swear, he begged, trying to sound sincere. There's no need for that, Calloway, I replied, shaking my head. That woman will be gone the minute she finds out you won't be rich anymore after the divorce. As for me, this is my golden opportunity to walk away from this sham of a marriage. I'm actually grateful you showed me your true colors before we ever had kids. Now you're going to deal with the consequences of your actions. I was done. There was nothing left to say. Calloway continued to plead, trying to convince me not to take his business, but his desperate cries only reminded me of the countless nights I had cried myself to sleep because of his betrayal. Seeing him in such a pathetic state filled me with a sense of satisfaction. My revenge was complete. All I wanted now was a clean break to start fresh, and I got more than I expected. Karma hit Calloway hard and fast. For weeks, he tried everything to change my mind, begging me to come back home, but I ignored it all. I wasn't interested in his drama. I was ready to move on. Since he had already filed for divorce, I hired someone from my firm to represent me. I wasn't a divorce lawyer and wanted as little interaction with him as possible. After a month of futile attempts to win me back, Calloway realized he had no choice. He was forced to hire a lawyer and agree to a clean break. He knew that if this went to court, he'd be publicly humiliated and waste even more money on legal fees. So he conceded to a mutual divorce. Thanks to the prenup, it was easy for me to get the settlement I deserved. I had ample proof of Calloway's infidelity, and as the prenup stated, he had to give me half of his business. Of course, he wasn't happy about it, but there was no way out. Reluctantly, he signed over half of his company to me. We even offered him a chance to buy me out, but he had no money left. You might wonder how a big business owner like Calloway ended up broke. It's simple. He spent it all on Callista. The irony was delicious. She wasn't taking his calls or texts anymore. As she figured out he wouldn't be wealthy after the divorce, and now no one else was willing to date her either. Her reputation as a gold digger had spread far and wide. What goes around comes around, right? But Callista was the least of Calloway's problems. With half of his business gone, his income was slashed. He couldn't afford to maintain his lavish mansion or even keep up with the mortgage, so he was forced to sell it. Now, he was renting a condo, a serious downgrade from the luxurious life he once had. He even tried to get back with me again, hoping to regain control of his business. But that was never going to happen. He would have to figure out a way to keep things afloat or save enough money to buy me out. As for me, I was thriving. I hired someone to manage my share of Calloway's business, and everything was running smoothly. With the extra income from both the business and my law practice, I upgraded my lifestyle and bought myself a new mansion. I was living my best life, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. The divorce worked out perfectly for me. Instead of being played by Calloway and his Callista, I ended up turning the tables, ruining their lives, and bettering my own.